Peek through the cloud with the pound like it's thunder. Peek through the cloud with the pound like it's thunder.
One more time, I want to give it up for Big City Quan, Blaze. You know what I'm saying? I like that song for real, for real. You already know what time it is. It's time for the Black Sheep right here on Energy Radio, Pan American Show. We talk about our views, our point of views, and all that other good stuff. Yep. You already know what time it is. So we're going to get into it. Mike, what's up?
All right, yo. So, listen, we pay respect to DMX, man. Yo, Word. Like I said, you know, that wasn't the only person. Yo, we lost Black Rob and we lost
Word, we did.
Yesterday, Shock G, co-founder of Digital Underground Group.
Word.
All right, yo, he put Tupac on and yo, like, look, hip hop community, we gonna be alright. We losing our OGs, man. That's why we gotta pay respect while they're here.
That one was a real shocker for me, though.
Shock G, definitely.
It was like, wow, DMX was a shock.
DMX was definitely a shock, and both of them. Shock G and DMX are both in their 50s.
At the same time.
Like back to back, but it's crazy. But all right, so listen, I guess, you know, we're gonna talk about Derek Chauvin trial, which has come to an end, him being found guilty on all charges. All right. A couple of charges that he was found guilty of was unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. He's been found guilty of all of those, and he can end up spending more or about 40 years if the jury decides that they were aggravating factors. So, you know, listen, while this was, it was justification, I guess, you know, him doing what he did to Mr. George Floyd and sparking a whole, I guess, worldwide protest and everything. To see the system actually once, while it was good, it's sad that Mr. Floyd had to lose his life for the justice system to work for this one time. Now, while fans were celebrating, or, you know, I don't know if celebrating is the right word, but well, they were happy about the verdict that was read regarding Mr. Derek Chauvin. All right, Mikaya Bryant. We have to talk about
Mikaya Bryant.
Mikaya Bryant, yo, 16-year-old. All right, 16-year-old young woman who was murdered by police. She was fighting girls at her house. As far as I know, girls came to jump right at her house, and somehow the police were called. They said that Mikaya called the police.
Yeah, they said she called the police because she was being attacked by what we have the understanding were grown people, and they were all out there fighting. There was a whole bunch of people outside as well. I looked at the video so many times, and at first, you know, our first reaction is to blame, you know, the police. But realistically, he came in and reacted. And if he didn't, I believe that the young lady would have probably stabbed the lady in the pink, you know?
All right, listen.
And as bad as that may seem, you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. But we want to focus on the situation at hand. Okay. We want to focus on the fact that those women were there in the first place. We want to focus on, you know, the things that took place to where this girl had to call the police. Because regardless of how everyone is visualizing what's going on with this whole situation, a young woman lost her life. She called for help, and she was gunned down. You know? And maybe she was acting erratically at the time, but you got to understand she was a kid. And kids act, you know, especially when they're being attacked. They act irrationally. They're untrained professionals. They're untrained civilians, untrained children, you know? And it's just unfortunate that it's really, really, really like such an argument. You know, a lot of people want to point fingers and blame, and they mainly want to point fingers and blame the officer. Mm-hmm. But is that really the person that needs to be at fault? How about let's point the finger and place the blame on the adults that were there?
Right. Everybody that watched the situation, the young man that kicked the woman.
Yeah, there was a young man in a gray hoodie that kicked the woman in the video.
I was just looking over, and So they were saying that Mikaya Bryant argued the argument was about housekeeping, like keeping the house clean or something. The two young ladies had came over to celebrate a birthday, and the argument ensued, and it was about cleaning up, making the bed, and stuff like that. So something petty like that started a whole argument where this young woman lost her life. So yeah, it wasn't just two girls showing up to fight her. It's just about just a keeping the house clean issue. Basically, that's what Angela Moore, the foster mother of Mikaya Bryant, told reporters. So, I mean, this is a sad situation.
I mean,
overall.
and did she deserve to die from that? No.
No, over an argument. I don't know how a knife got pulled into the situation, but because I'm still reading, this is fresh, so I'm just trying to go through it. But the fact that we saw the video, we know what happened. We saw her attempt to lunge and stab somebody. But at the same time, like you said, there is plenty of blood to be spread around to everybody.
Yeah, we did.
There is plenty of blood to be spread around. Everybody that sat there and recorded it or watched it, people that partook in it, the young man that kicked the woman. All right, listen to me. I was one of the first ones to sit there and say, why didn't he use a taser?
It was the cop's fault. I blamed the cop too.
I'm not blaming the cop.
I blamed the cop first.
Well,
I won't sugarcoat that, and I won't hide anything that I really did. I blamed the cop first.
Well, I mean, I guess to an extent, yeah, I kind of blame him because, listen, the police are told to trust us. We're not told to trust the police.
Facts.
All right. Now, when this situation happened, we all saw the video. All right. The young woman, the cop pulled up. All right. You see a young woman fall on the floor. We see a guy kick the woman in the background. All right. And then we see Mikaya going to stab the young woman that was wearing the pink outfit. And the cop said, get out like 4 times or whatnot. And the cop did what he did. Now, listen, I'm not. This is just a tough situation because it's really bad. It looks bad all the way around, though, not just from Mikaya, but from the police and from the people that sat there and watched it happen.
Word.
So.
Word. And there were too many adults there.
Right.
I feel like instead of persecuting the police, how about we go to the people, the adults that were there, get the event full scoop, and whoever was at fault. Mikaya obviously called the cops, so she would if she would have lived, she would have been the victim.
Right.
And it doesn't, assaulting someone for housekeeping, that's not a real viable reason to assault anyone in the first place.
It's not at all.
So that right there should have never escalated the way that it did.
Point blank period. Point blank period. Man.
It's just so unfortunate. This girl was so young.
Oh,
she had her whole life ahead of her.
And
her whole life. Now she's gone.
The thing that's crazy about it too is that we didn't even have a chance to breathe to take in the verdict.
Word.
And of Derek Chauvin and this happens.
Man.
It's really crazy.
Word.
It's really crazy. And then I had put y'all up onto this story, which we're still, I guess, we're looking into it. Well, I'm looking into it because this young man, Anthony Thomas Jr., the 17-year-old that was gunned down last week by Knoxville PD in the school bathroom. At first, the cop had said that Ant Jr. shot him, but later was retracted in saying that the police shot Anthony Jr. and himself. So this is a developing story. Because I'm just
crazy.
really hearing about
that is what?
Yeah, so we gotta. I'm trying to get all of these things together, but I will have an update.
Yeah, I would like to follow up on that story, but see the difference between that story and a lot of other stories is that these other stories are caught on tape. And I understand they saying why isn't this getting that much attention? It's because the media don't report on stuff like that.
Right. So we trying to be y'all reporters.
Yeah, we trying to bring y'all the real of the real. But all actual reality, it's good to, we want to know, things that are going on in your neighborhoods, wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want us to report on things that are going on in your neighborhood, if you have proof and you have receipts, please inbox info@energyradio.com. If you have a story, something that involves the community, we'd love to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? We'd love to, basically get that information and then share it with our brothers and sisters out here because it's really, really important. You already know what it is.
Definitely is important. And it was something else that I just kind of wanted to talk about. I know we were talking about this in the past and whatnot. All right, so this was kind of important, and this is regarding the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, which was pulled off the
Hold
market.
on, before you get into that, we
What?
gotta backtrack just for 1 second.
What's up?
The Chauvin case.
Derek Chauvin.
The Derek Chauvin case.
Yeah.
He was charged. I want to talk about the charges and what he was charged with.
Okay.
Real quick. Derek Chauvin was found guilty of murder, obviously. He is awaiting conviction of second-degree and third-degree murder, as well as second-degree manslaughter in the death of George Floyd, May 25th, 2020, while in police custody. Now, I wanted to talk about these charges because second-degree manslaughter charge is basically saying that it was not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's not good enough. I feel like it's been proven over and over throughout the whole entire case that it was intentional, that he did not have to die that day.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was just giving us something, you know what I mean, and giving us a win. And then right behind that, we had the incident with this young lady, and not only the 13-year-old kid in Chicago that got shot in the chest in cold blood by the police officer, Hell. So it's a lot to swallow in the news.
It is.
And it's a lot to swallow, but I made a post a few days ago, and a friend of mine hit me up and was basically saying that it held no context because he felt like the young lady that just passed, Mikaya. He's like, listen, if you watch the video over and over, and I'm not gonna lie, he intrigued me, and I went back and I did watch the video over and over, and I seen that he was, being real. He was basically telling me what it is. She did have the knife, and if the cop didn't react, that would have happened. I feel like Mikaya should have got shot? No. Mikaya should have got shot? No. I feel like, should he have shot 4 times? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like that situation needs deeper investigation. But I wanted to make sure that he understood that my video had complete context, because I was talking mainly of the fact that us as Pan-American people, black people, whatever you want to call yourself, more, Israelite, whatever you want to consider yourself as an African descendant person here in America. We've become accustomed of watching our children die.
Sadly.
We've become accustomed of seeing it happening over and over and over. And it's something that we've learned to deal with because, we were trained that way before they let us free in this country. That's why a lot of other people, like Jamaicans, especially in Haitians, are very resilient to the laws here. And, they don't understand a lot of things that's going on, or probably understand the African-American, Pan-American, more American, whatever you want to call us, mentality. But a lot of these things that are haunting our communities, if you will, or plaguing our communities, are things that we were trained like puppies during slavery, so that it would be passed down to our children. We were trained a certain way that we're still passing certain things down to, our children, from our ancestors, basically. And basically, it's like, it's hard to break it, but knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to bring awareness, and I was using the examples of the fact that we've been watching our children basically be killed in front of us forever.
Do you feel like we're normalizing it?
We've been us per se. I can't speak for everyone else. I can speak for people like me and descendants of those people like me. But it's a mentality issue. You know what I'm saying? The problem. What was your question again?
Do you feel like we're normalizing children?
Yeah. It's a mentality issue. the reason why we're still here, we survived the slave trade, and we survived slavery by white people, and and it's kind of taken me a long time too, because I'm still in the process of uh of learning to break away from that certain things, mental illness is real, and certain things are not normal. And the reason why my eyes was open is because I got to travel and I got to see different people and I got to talk to different people.
But I'm just talking
there's
about
different factors.
to
not murder.
More so young kids of young minority kids of color, which or people of color in general, man.
Right.
You know, I mean, it seems like our American Horror Story is us getting pulled over by police. Because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know, man, listen, man, I hope this cop ain't on no bullshit today, man. And just give me a ticket, let me go about my business, man. But trust me, all it takes is for them to be in a bad mood, yo.
Word. And it could be a scary day in the neighborhood.
Big facts.
It could be a very scary day in the neighborhood. And we need to all, keep that in mind. And, I think a lot of the fear that we exhibit today is the way we train our kids. Like, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of teaching my children that they're black. You know what I'm saying? And that they need to behave a certain way around white people, and they need to conduct themselves a certain way, and they need to, just watch out. That warning is weakness. Because that warning is weakness, because they should be walking around like everyone else. They should have the mentality that I'm free to do certain things just like everyone else.
Yes.
That I should be treated fair. We put that weakness in our kids at birth because it's a warning. We're scared, so we wanna instill that in our children to be scared too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's wrong.
We
shouldn't be doing that. We should be encouraging our children. No, you're human.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you experience some racist, no, you're human. That person's ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only if they experience that. You know what I'm saying? We instill the fear that our capturers, trained us to instill in our children at an early age. You know what I'm saying? And we don't realize that that's what we're doing, because we're thinking that we're protecting our children. We think that we're doing the right thing by our children. We think that we're warning them. But really, we're giving them a disadvantage, because we're telling them that they're less than. That we're telling them that they will never be equal to, and that they have to abide by and adhere to. That's something we shouldn't be doing. We should be telling them to be independent. We should be telling them that you are a person, just like that white boy is a person, just like that Indian boy is a person, just like that Asian boy is a person. You are a man. You know what I'm saying? You are a man, not a boy. You are just as much as a man, if not more than, because genetically you are more than everyone else. You know what I'm saying? We should stop taking away that power and start training our children and instilling a little bit more power in them.
Thanks.
I was watching videos from back in the 60s. Right. Where we had our own classrooms, where we had to teach our own kids, and they had a little bit different structure. It was more militant, you know what I'm saying? And they made the kids understand you are a man, because that's at the time where you heard it more often, the racism and the racial slurs, and our people were really being haunted and hunted in this country.
It's crazy to think though, like 70, 75, 80-year-old man back in the day in Mississippi was called a boy. And had to sit there and adhere to a freaking child saying it to him. Yeah. And he couldn't do anything about it, That's
and
crazy.
it goes deeper. It goes way deeper than just that. You know what I'm saying? It was so much stuff that we had to just tolerate that we just tolerate it now. Everybody's there's a buildup of rage and anger amongst our community. Like, we're getting tired of just taking it. But in all reality, what do we do when we're taking it? We're going to keep taking it because it's in our blood now. Because we've been taking it so long. Can you imagine a mother sitting there watching master rape their daughter and not doing anything? can you imagine what it takes for, what kind of fear it took for her not to react, not to stop it? We had to watch our children be raped to death in front of us, hold our children and bury them in the backyard, and deal with it and go back to work the next day. At one point in time, I want to tell y'all what's really on this land. What kind of blood is really on this land? Like, it's real. It's just serious. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us, we don't take it like that no more, because we lost culture, we lost family. You know what I'm saying? We lost family ties. Brothers and sisters, we brothers and sisters because they mated us together with our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers, our cousins. We was all out here doing it to each other forcefully, because if we didn't give Master what he wanted, which is our baby, which they treated like puppies, they was going to kill us. And we had to watch them take our babies away. We had to watch them do crazy, strange, and unusual shit to our kids while we just sat there and had to watch in pain. I feel the pain on this land. I don't know why nobody else do.
Let me ask you a question. And this is kind of going away from what you were digging into, but pertaining to this trial, well, not the trial, but just the justice system in general. Because honestly, let's keep it 100, y'all. There's two different justices. We have one for the white people and then one for minorities.
Facts.
How do we even attempt to tackle systemic racism? Like, I mean, what can you do? Because obviously, look, Eric Garner, it was videotaped. The justice system told us that it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Look, Tamir Rice, little boy playing with a toy gun. Cops just rolled up on him and shot him down.
We got a partial win with the George Floyd.
It was, but
it was definitely partial, and it was sugar coated. I did not like when I heard the charges. I'm like, thank you.
But
that's just how I felt about it. Cause come on, y'all charged him with. Y'all basically saying he didn't mean to do it, but the reason why you charged him is because it was proven that he meant to do it. So this doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did that to give him less of a sentence.
It's tough, and that's what I'm saying. Like, how do we deal with charges that, like, that again, systemic racism, yo? Because we already know if the role had been reversed, if Derek Chauvin was a brother and George Floyd was a white man, you look, y'all, they would have that cop would have been fired pending investigation and all of that good stuff, and he probably would have went to jail. No questions asked, because white people would have been outraged and they would not have allowed it. They
wouldn't. And like I said previously, when you mess with one of them, they come in like cancer. They coming to take you out, like, for real, straight up like that. So don't with them like that. Not unless you about that life. But I feel like the only way to beat systematic racism and all of the things that they are using as tools to oppress us is to go back into our little bubble where we segregate ourselves and build from within and have our own stuff, and then come back into society and we make those merges accordingly to how everybody wants to live. You know what I'm saying? What major factor or what brought a Black Wall Street really down was the fact that integration happened at the time that it did, where they seen that we were flourishing when we support ourselves, so that they wanted a piece of the pie, so they broke us up and made we already automatically feel what's white is right. Y'all heard that so many times growing up. If it's white, it's right. Get you a white friend. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of mentality is drilled in your head so much by so many different people. You start to believe it. What we need to do is start to support Black-owned businesses. We need to start supporting Black media. We know that our people could be scandalous at times, but yet and still, we need to still support. You know what I'm saying? Because they're giving us our perspective. We can't go to somebody else and ask them for our perspective. We can't go to somebody else and ask them to help us as a group of people. We need to help us. We know that our people are in shambles right now. Our people are lost. We are cultureless people.
Right.
We know this already.
And you really think that, no offense, you really think Caucasians are going to tell us about our real history?
No, they're not.
I mean, that's really what sit here and kills me. Like, I mean, come on. Just look at that. Just look at Christopher Columbus, man. And you want to be like, oh, yeah, he was ocean, but ain't nobody talking about how he was a rapist.
He was a rapist. He was a murderer.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, they call him a crusader.
Yeah.
He's a serial killer.
And they want us out here celebrating. They give him a whole day.
Yeah, they took that down.
Well,
Well, they still
Indigenous People Day.
Indigenous people. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, just do. Every day, billions of people have this little item in their hand. That is a connection to the World Wide Web.
Do your research. You get a lot done if you do your
It's
research.
just that simple.
Big facts. It's very simple. You get a lot done. You do your research. Word out. So we want to move on to the next topic. I got
you got something?
Oh yeah.
All right, what you got?
New Jersey police precinct under investigation after of officers confiscating black teens' bike went viral. Now, I wanted to talk about this situation because these were some really young men. I saw the video personally myself. The police were stopping them. If you listen to the video, because I watched it over and over and over, the police said that they drove past the kids and told the kids to get on the sidewalk. The kids refused to get on the sidewalk, so they pulled over. But the kids said that that's not what happened. She didn't say anything to them, and then she didn't. And then when she did, they were about to move off to the sidewalk, but she wanted the bike. And you could tell she was on a power trip. She was mad because she was getting downplayed by a kid. A kid was talking to her like he had rights, which children do have rights here in this country. I don't know why people act like children are aliens to this country, that they don't hold American rights. But you have to treat a child like a citizen as well. So to all the people that treat children like they're second class and they don't have constitutional rights, the Constitution does apply to children too. Okay? And a child actually have more rights. You have to contact the child's parent before handling them a certain way. And as we've been seeing throughout this year, where the little girl got pepper sprayed and kicked in the back seat and locked in the back seat after she already explained to them she had heart problems. You know, there's a lot of child abuse going on within the police too that needs to be investigated. The same way that you investigate these mothers for going to work and leaving their kids at home, the same way you investigate these parents for disciplining their children, the same way you do these investigations if the parent was to handle the child like that. These police officers need child protective services in their lives.
And you know what? Let me just say this real quick, man.
Or under investigation by the police.
And you know, this is disregarding the Mikaya Bryant situation. But people were saying, oh, well, you know what, if you just sit there and comply, officer, you won't get shot, whatever. A couple of years ago, a doctor who had a mental patient down in Florida, I believe it was. All right, his mental patient was outside, and I guess the doctor was trying to get him inside. I guess the police had been called for whatever reason. And, the doctor did everything the officer asked, and the officer still shot him. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Oh, you need another instance? Dylan Roof went into a black church, killed, people.
A bunch of people.
He was taken into custody and taken to Burger King. What black person gonna get a ride to Burger King before going to jail?
Not one.
That's what I'm saying. He'd be lucky if he make it to the cop car.
Look, they were talking about, like, they were getting ready during the George Floyd, the Derek Chauvin trial. They were getting ready for mass protests, and after that, there were a whole bunch of memes of how black people was getting ready to break into the stores and stuff like that, and all that other crazy stuff. Now, let me tell you something, okay? Because I don't like to defend people that do wrong things, but when it comes to protests, I'm like, go for it at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, go for it. If you gonna take the risk, take the risk. Because a lot of things, I'm not trying to excite no violence, and I'm not telling nobody to go in the fucking stores and steal nothing. That's not what I'm saying. When I'm talking about protests, I mean go out there and protest.
Cause a little civil disobedience because that's the point of a protest, for real.
Now, I don't agree with stealing and everything, but that's all part of the process. Because if that didn't take place, a lot of this wouldn't be taken serious. If it wasn't for the outrage and the destruction, none of this would have been taken serious. They would have just waited a week or two until we would have went in the house, and then that would have been that.
But
Just like when it got cold, we went in the house, and when it got warm again, we didn't go back out. We should have still been protesting, but they know it wears off.
But you know what, too? At the same time, and this kind of might be a controversial thing to say, but I'm going to say it too. I guess I'll put out my little disclaimer that my thoughts and opinions are of my own. They don't necessarily represent anyone associated or affiliated with Energy Radio.
Facts.
All right? So they're just mine. This is me. Cops, they don't care about black people protesting in black neighborhoods. You really want to make some noise? Go to white neighborhoods. Go make some noise in their quiet little suburbs. I'm just saying.
That's why we need to understand that and learn that shit. You know, they were constructing, like, not constructing. They were cattling us during all the protests. Every single last one that we went to, the police were cattling us so that we didn't go in those neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And we went along with it like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nobody understood or watched what was going on. They didn't look beyond the crowd. They were just seeing and feeling what they were feeling. And you know what? You know, there's a saying that is there's always one sheep that won't follow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that during those protests, I was the sheep that was like, we shouldn't be following them. Because the police is telling us to go down this street. They were blocking off certain streets so that they can cattle us and herd us into where they wanted us. They pushed us back into the hood. So that if we went off, we would fuck up our own stuff.
The thing about a protest, too, yeah, you're good. But the thing that a lot of people don't understand, especially in New York, you have to get a permit to protest.
You do.
So, in essence, you have to let the city know where you're going and how long you're going to be marching for.
Right.
Because that's what they're going to give information to the police so that listen.
Because it's not really civil disobedience. It's really doing what the police want you to do.
That's the thing. And I remember one time I was at a protest in New York. I forgot where we were going. I think they were trying to like cross the Brooklyn. I was like, yo, y'all really want to make some noise? Let's go to Times Square.
Word.
Because think about that. Everybody has to go through Times Square. It's mad people there. Yo, it was me from that crowd. Went over to Times Square. I was like, you stand there, block this, block all of that. And then, like, you just started seeing a whole gang of people coming from all over the place following us right in Times Square. Because people were seeing what we were doing. People were live. And it was dope, you know? So that's what I mean. When you say the point of a protest caused a little civil disobedience, nobody expected us to show up there in Times Square. That's why when cops came out, they came out wilding, yo. They was like, yo, just arrest everybody. I was like, all right, yo, time to be out because I'm trying to get locked up in New York.
Facts. Nobody trying to get locked up in New York.
That's what I'm saying, man. But I mean, look, yo, if you're going to protest, yo, look, I mean, if Martin Luther King caused a little civil disobedience, it's okay to cause a little civil disobedience.
Facts. And you know what? We have to learn from the past. And
we do.
Before I get into this next topic,
Mm-hmm.
this next article, I want to let us know we need to learn from the past. I know I say that often, and a lot of people are getting like, all right, Shug, you doing this every show. But I really, really mean that we need to learn from our past in terms of stop jumping for these vaccinations. Everybody wants to be now all these after we're peaking with the coronavirus. They want to say that the numbers are getting better because we're getting more people vaccinated. You got me fucked up.
For real. And
I'm good. I still need I need a trial period. Y'all all still under trial. I want to see babies born. Make sure that they got all their feet, all their fingers, all their toes. I want to make sure that they born with just 2 eyes, 1 nose, and 1 mouth. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that they don't got superhuman powers. Because if they did, I'm going to be like, damn, I should have went and got me my shot. But it is what it is.
Wait. Being that you brought that, I just wanted to get into this real quick. Mm-hmm. The FDA lifts Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine pause following safety review. All right, so everybody knows that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was pulled for a little bit because there were certain instances where people started developing blood clots.
Yes.
All right, now
still don't get it because you don't know what's going to go through.
This is proof that the government doesn't care about you or nothing that you're talking about because the FDA went on ahead and approved for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to be back out on the market.
That's
so
crazy.
Do with that what y'all will. But ain't nobody shoot me up with nothing. I ain't taking no Johnson Johnson, no Pfizer, no nothing.
I'm going to just wait to see what's going to happen with y'all.
What, about 10 years, 5, 10 years?
I'm going to just wait. I ain't got it. Listen, if I got to go out of the country, I'm not taking that risk for my children. Because if I take that vaccine and I die and my kids are still here, who gonna take care of them? If I'm paralyzed, if I start twitching and shit, who gonna take care of my kids? None of y'all. Don't sit there and put y'all, if y'all want to be the experiment, be the experiment. Don't put that on me. Yeah. And don't be trying to bribe me. I don't need y'all weed. I don't need y'all vacations. I'm alive. Right. I want to live past this coronavirus situation. After the 5-year trial is over, then I start traveling out this country. And mostly everything is here anyway. Everybody else is trying to get up over here. So I'm going to stay my ass here and get this money. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Listen to me, man.
Straight like that. Y'all bugging.
It's not funny, but I just kind of want to bring a light to the situation because I have family members that have taken the vaccine and whatnot. Yeah.
I got family members and friends too who have taken that vaccine.
Yeah, I was mad at them too, but then I just saw a meme and it had made me laugh, and I was like, you know what, it is what it is. I ain't got no control about it. And it was like people were saying, oh yeah, yo, look, I done took the vaccine, I did my research, and people saying in response to that, well, congratulations, lab rat.
Facts. That's exactly what you are. Because you want to try. And if something happens to you behind, you can't sue nobody. And that's the worst part of the whole situation. Yeah. Is after something happens to your ass, you get a blood clot that changes your whole life. You can't walk no more. You can't use your pinky. I don't know. Nobody. So it's just use a test rat.
Well,
you do that.
What does it say about the FDA?
And you didn't even get paid for it. You know what's messed up? Because usually when you on a trial and test, they pay you. When you go for those little experiments, you know what I'm saying? They pay you. I seen that because I was tempted to try to do one of them one time because I was going through some shit. I was struggling, but I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Goodness. But no, for real. Usually they pay you for that, but they not paying these people. I mean, they bribing people to get it, but they not paying people for it. And if something happens to you, there's nothing.
Everything.
Go get insurance. Matter of fact, go and get life insurance before you take the shot. So if you die of something, your family and your loved ones can be taken care of.
Write a will.
Your experiment with your body. I'm holistic for real. You know what I'm saying? I believe in natural cures. That's my part of my religion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to put nothing in my body that I don't understand and I don't know. I did it for a long time. I took a lot of their vaccines. I feel like I would have been way smarter than I am now if I didn't. I feel like my body and my mental state and everything in me would have been way more advanced than it is now. You know what I'm saying? I'm catching up because I've been injecting myself with pesticides and all kinds of preservatives that they've been feeding me, saying that it's okay to eat and everything my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I'm catching up. What I'm saying is I gave my kids vaccines. I regret the shit because I saw the regression after getting the vaccine. I thought it was just, the next stage of life, they dulling down. No, it's the vaccine. It's doing something to them. You know what I'm saying? So I decided to go on a different journey and a different approach to things. Now, speaking of the vaccine, the U.S. denies India request to lift an export ban on raw materials needed to make COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. State Department said that the U.S. is focusing on vaccinating the American people when asked about sending raw materials to India for vaccine production. The response comes after the Serum Institution of India asked the U.S. to lift the export ban on these materials, a request that has yet to be met. India is currently facing a large surge in COVID-19 cases. Over 300,000 new cases recorded in one day this week. Some estimates suggest that the U.S. export ban could last another month. Wow. So basically, we're leaving India hanging. Vaccinate the majority of the people here that don't want to be vaccinated.
I'm not doing it. All right.
It's like they forcing the world. They got travel bans now in certain countries. Not in America, but if you want to go somewhere else, there's a travel ban. You have to have the vaccine thing on your passport.
All right. Just to set an example to that, tie that to what you were saying. Okay. Hopefully all of my 420 heads, y'all had a good 420 and whatnot, yo. Hopefully
facts.
Because we was litty or whatever. We had